What's up, nerds? So I just finished, literally, as of recording this, I just finished the 4th episode of Agatha All Along. And I want to be honest with you, I think that I do not dislike this show, but I don't love it. Like, that's the whole thing. But this was the worst episode out of all the ones that they've come out with so far. It wasn't bad. We got a lot of backstory about the witches and everything. But at the same time, I'm all like, you know, I am a firm believer of the fact that this is a TV show and you should show, not tell, kind of thing, because it's a visual medium. So I think that if you're not going to show me and you're just going to tell me, and we get the glimpse of all these ladies' past and everything, which I like hearing about it, but it was much nicer to see it. You know what I'm saying? From that last episode. In saying that, I think that if you keep having stinker episodes like this episode wasn't like a complete abortion, but it was not that great. I mean, yeah, that's just I miss, I miss Sharon. Like her dying in the last episode, you felt it because I genuinely thought that character was funny. And this episode, I was like, there's nobody to take her place. Like, don't get me wrong, Aubrey Plaza is hot as shit, and I do like Aubrey Plaza. And I'm glad that she's, here now. But at the same time, I'm just like, whatever. And if they keep having secrets, like the ratings are not that great for this show. And I'm just like, if you guys don't pick it up, then we won't be having I just don't see what's like. It's just not that great. It's just not that great. Okay. Also, real quick, I'm gonna be spoiling the shit out of stuff that's been leaked online, because I want to talk about everything in full. So if you don't want to hear all that stuff during my breakdown and my review, then just bail now, because I'm sorry. If you've been able to, not see it to this point, good for you. Me, I look for this stuff. Like, I'm literally like, I think it's saved into my search engine. Like, they're just like, what do you want to spoil for yourself today, Matthew? And I'm like, everything. Okay. I'm going to get into this breakdown and talk about some stuff. But one last thing I want to say is, I don't want to hear this fucking song anymore. This Rich's Road song is not good. I do not like it. I find it very annoying, but that maybe that's just me. Probably not, though. I just don't like this song. It's not a great song. Okay, here we go. Okay, so after burying Sharon, poor Sharon, the coven is forced to summon a replacement Green Witch, who turns out to be Rio, much to Agatha's annoyance. So they're burying Sharon, right? And something that I did like that Teen said. Also, Teen, I still find very annoying as a character. I don't like this character, like, at all. And if this is how Wiccan is going to be, because he's Wiccan, if this is how he's going to be throughout the entire show, or throughout the entire MCU, I'm not interested in that. Well, but I never liked it in the comic books, anyways. Okay, so they're burying Sharon, and they're like, well, can't we just get a replacement witch? And then Teen was all like, you can't just replace people. And I did like how Agatha like, can't we? And I was like, oh, that's funny, but not like laugh out loud funny. I was just like, kind of thing. So they summon Rio. Now, when she pops up out of the ground like a fucking Houdini trick, she definitely has like the little movements of Wanda from Mom, from Doctor Strange 2. So, and I'm all like, is that what witches do? Is that what they're doing now? They're just moving all like, all Zorgified and everything. But she pops up out of the ground like a freaking Houdini trick. And one thing that I did like that she said was, I like how she's all like, are you a Green Witch? And she's like, it's not really like I'm a Green Witch. I'm like the Green Witch. And
less a Green Witch, more the Green Witch.
I was like, that's also funny, but not laugh out loud funny. I was like, okay. So she's now on the road, and yeah. Then the coven encounter a house with a 1970s aesthetic that gives Alice some grief. So they encounter this like 70s vibe house, which I'm not gonna lie, I like the 70s look. Except for Teen, his look sucked. But Aubrey Plaza, I like that they showed kind of like the tasteful cleavage, same thing with Agatha, for an older broad, Han is not Catherine Hahn is pretty in shape, but Aubrey Plaza, showing. But yeah, no, I like the aesthetic of this house because it's a studio, and this all has to deal with Alice and her mother and their whole situation. So as they enter, they find that it is a recording studio tied to Alice's mother, Lorna Wu. Just as Rio playfully suggests to Agatha that they betray the others, which is overheard by everyone because Agatha turns on that little microphone, and the teen accidentally plays a record backwards, which summons a demon that is part of a curse in Alice's family. Okay, so they go into the house, they change into their 70s garb, right? So they're all up in this shit, and we see Alice's mom, a picture of her mom, which, by the way, hello, nurse. What a hottie patati. I got a thing for Asians, you know what I'm saying? So while they're, I did like how Alice is like, don't drink anything, don't eat anything, don't touch anything, and everything. And then Teen was all like, hey, remember in the last house, we got that little invite. Maybe there's a clue here. So they start searching around. And as they do it, Lilia, she sees all these little placard, like these things on the wall, and they're all tortures and deaths of how women slash witches and men would die during the Spanish Inquisition. And if you remember from the last episode, we got to see that, that girl, and then she did speak in Spanish. I can't remember exactly what she said, but I was like, okay. I was like, again, interesting, but I'm very much like a show don't tell kind of thing. And it looks like with these other witches, we're going to get a tell, don't show kind of thing. So obviously her whole situation went down with the Spanish Inquisition. So there was that. Then we get Rio and Agatha, and they're in the recording booth by themselves. Okay. And Agatha's all like, no. And if you remember, if you'd seen the leaks from the Funko Pops, Aubrey Plaza's character is Death. So it's very obvious that what happened, that Agatha gets these covens, and then she kills these witches for Death, because Death goes, see, she says something like, you get your magic or whatever, and I get my bodies. And I think that they had like somewhat of a harmonious relationship, because Agatha, the witches would blast her, and as they blasted her, like from the past situation that we saw before, the witches would die and Death would collect, And I think that bringing in Death at this point in the MCU, I think that, I don't know if it's a misstep or whatnot, but I personally am like, whatever. I literally don't care. Like, it's just so, I don't know if it's a misstep. I just don't know. I have to wait until the end to tell you if I think it's a misstep or whatnot. But while they're doing that, everybody overhears and they're pissed. You know what I'm saying? So Teen then turns on the record player and it starts playing the Witch's Road song, which, again, I do not like this song, but starts playing it backwards, It's like, and everything. And I'm all like, oh, it's a terrible song frontwards and backwards. And so it starts playing this song, and they're all like, yeah, turn it off. And Agatha smashes it. And he's like, why would you play that? And it said, that played me and everything. And so they summon the demon, and it lands on their shoulders, and it gives them the scars. And it's a curse from Alice's family, from the women in her family, and it's passed down from woman to woman. And the demon kills the woman, And they're like, well, why haven't you died? And the thing is, so Alice's mom, Lorna, she recorded the ballad because she was trying to open the road to get rid of the curse. And while she was on tour, she didn't have a coven because she said her fans were her coven. And I just want to be all like, I don't think that's how that works. Because if I don't want to be in your coven, I don't want to be in your coven, bitch. So obviously it didn't work, which you'd think Lorna would be all like, maybe I should get some other witches in here to help me out, because obviously this tour thing isn't happening. So Agatha said, you didn't die yet from the curse. This demon thing didn't kill you because somewhere someone is playing the road, and it's a protection spell for Alice. And Alice is all like, everything I touch turns to shit, and it's because of the curse. So when the demon, because it's perched on her shoulders, when it comes off, she's like, I feel lighter. And I was like, that's interesting. I mean, we've seen this before, but like we in other things, but it was still interesting. So yeah, the demon, shows up. In order to fight back, the group plays Lorna's version of the ballad, which, what a shitty song. And Alice is able to successfully kill the demon, by singing it to death. Because, that's how you kill demons. So they start singing this song again. I'm like, oh, this is so obnoxious. And the demon shows up. And I have to be honest with you, like they're all like, yeah, we used mostly practical effects. And I'm like, trust me, I can tell. Because this demon thing was very like, not so scary. Like if that thing would have showed up and I'm like, dude, listen, I understand that you got that at like, Halloween Spirit City or whatever that costume room is called. But I've seen third graders with better makeup. So singing the song kills the demon and it bursts into flames and the curse is lifted and the piano opens and they are like, well, look, the exit. Teen is revealed to be severely wounded because the demon threw him through that freaking glass. And the coven escaped the house through the piano and tend to his wounds with water and sunlight because, that's how medicine works, which saves his life. So they realized that Teen, when he got blasted through that glass, you'd think he'd notice a little bit sooner than that, but he was he got stabbed. And so they've got him laid out, and Agatha is all like, she looks at Rio and she's like, don't. And it was because Rio is death, Lady Death, and she's asking her to not take him. And I think that, and that plays into a little bit later, but, and I think that was interesting. And then Jen just pops some water into the sunlight and says, Hakuna Matata, and then pours it on the wound. And I can't tell if it was actually Jen or it was Death just being like, fine, I won't take him and everything. But also one thing that I did like was Lilia, when she looked and she's like, Jen, look what you did. And she was saying that is in a positive, not look what you did, but as in look what you did. Lilia, Alice, and Jen, they bond at a fire, telling camp stories and stuff with each other, while Rio implies the history between herself and Agatha. All right, so the ladies are having a little kumbaya by the fire. And okay, so Lilia, we know that she's in the Spanish Inquisition, but Lilia does this thing throughout the show where she's all like, she'll say something like, don't do that, or who you talking to? And she says to Alice, she goes, Alice, don't. And Alice is like, don't what? And she's like, don't what? She's like, don't what? And everything. And I think it's because that's going to be the last episode. All these lines are from the last episode. And she's just seeing the future because she does divination. Yeah. So Alice, her curse has been lifted. And we find out all about her. Now, Jen, we also find out, remember that doctor from the first episode or the last episode? We find out that that doctor was the one that binded her. And she was a midwife and she was invited to the pediatrics opening of the hospital or something like that. I can't remember exactly what she said. And he binded her and she's all like, I don't understand how he bound me without magic. I was like, that's interesting, kind of, but not enough for me to care. Like after this thought right here, I'm not going to care at all until like the next episode when you tell me. And so then Rio, she implies that Agatha and her had a relationship because they're showing battle scars, right? And she's like, my scar is a person because I did something, I was doing my job and it hurt them. And I think that that's because Rio had to take the life of Nicholas Scratch, her son, and she's mad about it. She's like, you took my son, Lady Death, and now I'm pissed. There's no way I can't get past it. Agatha checks in on Teen while he's sleeping in this little hut that they had time to build. And he asks her what happened to her son, which she ignores his question. But later, Rio tells Agatha that the teen is not her son. So Agatha, while she's sitting there, checking on Teen, And he's sleeping like he's fucking Bambi and shit. And I'm like, nobody sleeps like this, where they're all curled up in the fetal position with their hands like this. I don't know one person that fucking sleeps like that, but whatever. Anyways, so he asks her about her son, which she completely ignores him because she's like, fuck that noise. I'm not answering your questions. It's too painful. And I just want to say, I totally get it. So then, well, when Agatha leaves the fire and all the ladies, right? She's standing by herself, and Rio comes up behind her, and she's like, earlier in the episode, she's like, why did you bring the boy? And Agatha really gives like a non-answer. But then she looks at her and she's like, that boy is not yours. And I think she's saying that because she's saying that is not Nicholas, your son. And I don't know if it's, I'm not quite sure what's going on there and everything. But one thing Agatha does say to Billy, because it's Billy, his name is Billy, is he asks about the binding, and he says, did you put the binding curse on me? And she's like, no. She's like, but I wouldn't know if I did, because the binding curse also works on the witch that casts it. That's why we don't use them, because they're annoying. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, and he's like, well, how do you lift it? And she's like, they're not lifted, they're destroyed. And I was like, that's interesting, but not enough for me to care. So I just think that, and that was the end of the episode. So do I think this episode was like absolutely terrible? No. But was it good? No. It was just very mid. And that's the problem with this show for me personally, is it's nothing special. It's very mid. And you know what gets me is people are all the time like, it's camp. And I'm like, but it's more cringe sometimes than camp. And it's not good cringe. So I'm all like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm not feeling you on the camp. I don't think Jack Schaefer knows how to write camp. I'm sorry. I just don't think she does. I think she's a shit writer anyway. So, but the show, I'm going to obviously keep watching because I'm covering it, but we only have 5 episodes left. And the only thing I'm interested in finding out is the stuff about Rio, Lady Death, and Agatha. That's the only stuff I give a shit about. So we'll see how that turns out, because I still have my theory of the Salem 7 being the coven that she brought into the Witches Road the first time. And although they don't really need 7 of them, I'm not quite sure now. Yeah, it's some kind of witches that Agatha screwed over, and then that's how they turned into the Salem 7 or whatever. Yeah. All right, but so yeah, the show is not very good, but it's not terrible, you know? But tell me what you guys think about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite witch and everything? I guess I like Rio now, although she's not really a witch. Like, she's not a green witch. She's Lady Death. I'm not quite sure how that works, but you know, whatever. All right. Tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next breakdown and review of Agatha All Along. You guys have a good week. Bye.